Nicole Hannah-Jones, who tweets out the following or posts the following on Blue Sky, which, by the way, is really struggling. The train stabbing in Charlotte was awful. It's no more awful than school children being shot down in a church. Journalists should not allow ourselves to become tools of propaganda. If Charlotte is a product of policies, then so was Minneapolis. Outrage should not drive our coverage. She went on. How we cover crime at a time when crime is being used as a pretext to occupy American cities with the U.S. military is critical. Do we report the news or drive it? So she doesn't want to focus on what happened in Charlotte because she thinks MAGA Republicans are going to use it as an excuse for Trump to drop the National Guard in Charlotte. And I have to say, if I'm a white woman with blonde hair, like the woman who was killed, if I were walking around Charlotte right now, I think I'd say that's fine with me. I wish my governor would ask for the help so that we could have additional safety and security forces here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's clearly the politics of it. And look, she contradicts herself right at the beginning. If these things are equally awful and terrible, then we should focus on both, right? But she doesn't want to because she fears focusing on one, this crime and this light rail car will lead to results she doesn't like, namely federal forces who might deal with the problem, right? So, I think that the governor would need to call on Trump to send the National Guard there. But what you said, Megyn, really struck me.
I did say that.
Don't wear your headphones, your earbuds on a train. It's that's the mindset, and a lot of people are going to have that mindset. This just goes to, it doesn't matter whether, I don't know, crime is declining on this commuter trains, down 10% or whatever numbers they come up with. If you have to think about it, this is a serious public issue. No one should have to go through that thought process. I have to be hyper aware of everything that's happening on this train, and I can't even listen to something else because I might be stabbed in the neck. That's awful. It should be denounced by everyone. Everyone should want to do their utmost to stop it. And just final point, most of the people who are responsible for most of the crime are known to authorities. And it's a matter of public will whether you're going to deal with them or not. Gangbangers, none of them all of a sudden one day just become a gangbanger, right? They're guilty of all sorts of offenses and assaults and violent crimes before they start murdering people. Arrest them and lock them up, and you keep them in jail, and you know what? They can't harm anyone in the general population. Same case here with people who are deranged and have these criminal tendencies. It's a long, long, long rap sheet. And just everyone passed them along and said, oh, he's going to get treatment or, agree to do this or that. No one actually took the effort to say, no, we know all we need to know. We have the rap sheet. You're either staying in jail or you're going to some other form of confinement. Again, it's just a matter of public will.
The media.
Can I add something?
Well, let me just make this point, and then yes, but the media has been absolutely disgusting in the way they've ignored the story. As of Sunday, there was zero coverage on the AP, PBS, New York Times, NPR, CNN, Washington Post, MSNBC. Zero. I mean, I hardly need remind you of the coverage we had after George Floyd was killed by Derek Chauvin. And let's face it, this is a pattern. Look what happened down in Texas with Carmelo Anthony, the black defendant who killed a young white boy who was in high school. Same attempted blackout. They did not want to discuss it because race is first and foremost. And yet if you switched it, if this guy, it's the South, so if this killer were a white guy who was wearing a MAGA hat, killing a black woman who had fled oppression from some other country, can you imagine? This would be George Floyd all over again. It would be everywhere. They won't cover it because it's black on white crime. In particular, a beautiful young blonde white woman. That's the last person the left wants to feel sorry for. Literally the last, even though she's from Ukraine, which normally would engender some sympathy from them. The irony, this young woman fleeing her possible death in Ukraine. She was worried about getting murdered by Russians. Says she got murdered by an American loon on a train car who was killed as a result of American policy. Let's face it, directly as a result of American policy. So it's the race thing. But then on top of it, they do not want to talk about a homeless, mentally deranged man committing crime, Charles, because they have no solution, no real solution for that. So instead, we get the Axios article from Mark Caputo talking about MAGA influencers drawing repeated attention to violent attacks after the rising number of surveillance cameras has made them more accessible. Quote, has become a big accelerant in these cases.
The cameras are creating the crime, are they, rather than capturing it? Nicole Hannah-Jones, you quoted her. That makes me crazy, and it ties into the Axios piece as well, because what she's trying to do there is intimate that there is a double standard in the way that so-called MAGA Republicans or conservatives in general look at these two cases, when actually the only double standard is on the left and in the mainstream press. So you have this guy in Charlotte who murders this lady. If conservatives had responded to it by saying, now it's time to ban knives, then Nicole Hannah-Jones would have a point. But they didn't. No one said that. No one said it was the knife that did it, which is the same as the shooting in Minnesota, where conservatives said, no, the problem was not the gun. What did conservatives think the problem was in Minnesota and, in fact, in Charlotte? People who were mentally ill not being treated. Now, I don't think in Minnesota the perpetrator was on the police's radar in quite the way that the guy was in Charlotte. But had he been, there would have been no double standard in the reaction. The argument would have been exactly the same. Can we do something about this? Please. Not can we take away people's weapons, not can we take away people's constitutional rights, but the problem is the person who did it and the authorities' unwillingness or refusal or inability to deal with that. So actually the only double standard left is that in one case, we got wall-to-wall coverage, well, until the perpetrator in Minnesota turned out to be someone the press wished it had not been.
Exactly.
And in the other case, it was covered up completely. It's not conservatives who have done anything here other than said, could we please talk about this crime? Could we please talk about the victim as if she matters and not the guy who did it? So that is so cheap. It's just so offensive to have it pinned on the people who noticed that this happened. And again, blaming cameras. I mean, it's good that we have cameras that are catching crimes. If the implication is that prior to the cameras, lots more crimes happen on public transport around the country, but we didn't know about it, then God bless the cameras, because we finally at least have a way of working out how much crime is happening.
It's weird, Rich. I don't remember them lamenting like police body cams after George Floyd was dead.
Right.
I don't remember them saying, oh, the problem is we caught it on camera. Not, trust us, crime is way down in Minneapolis. You're just being misled by those damn cameras that the cops happen to be wearing. But this Mark Caputo, he didn't write that article then. Now he writes about how the video is easily shared or leaked and can instantly pollinate across social media. Again, had no problem when that happened after George Floyd, and going on as follows, just because he wanted to make it into a MAGA issue as opposed to what it is, all the issues we've been discussing.
Yeah, I think it's a public service that this video is out, right? I mean, video is incredibly powerful. We knew about the story. The story had been reported that it happened, but it doesn't hit anyone the same way as actually seeing what occurred in real time on the video.
When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Well, you'd be right. Whether as a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, Birch Gold Group believes every American should own physical gold. And so they created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, request an info kit right now. Just text MK to 989898. Plus, Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate in free metals of up to $10,000. So make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy before September 30th. Text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility and get your free info kit. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.